You're watching Q News, and we start this bulletin with the latest developments in Lebanon.
كل المستهدفين هن مدنيين.
وضع شيء مرعب، شيء بخوف.
Egyptian Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdulati and his Jordanian counterpart Ayman al-Safati have stressed on the continued efforts to stop the Israeli aggression on Gaza and the West Bank. Discussing Egypt and Jordan's stance in regional issues, Egyptian Minister Abdulati has condemned the Israeli blockage of humanitarian aid and Israel's continued aggression in East Jerusalem. And Jordan's Safadi has said that his country continues to stand by Egypt's stance in the Gaza Strip. A residential building in the suburbs of Haifa has suffered significant damage after 105 projectiles were launched in the space of an hour on the port city and the Upper and Lower Galilee regions. Israel's Home Front Command said that the vast majority of the rockets were intercepted by air defenses, but that damage was sustained in Kiryat Yam in northern Haifa. Local media said it was the largest barrage targeting the area since Israel and Hezbollah began exchanging cross-border fire. The Israeli occupation forces have targeted the Hara Tahrik municipality in the southern suburb of Beirut with two separate airstrikes. The latest bombardment struck a parking lot located between the airport bridge and the Huberi municipality. The air raid was described as fierce, with explosions reverberating throughout Beirut and the mountains of Lebanon. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has made a phone call with his Cypriot counterpart Nikos Christodoulidis to tackle bilateral relations. This came as the two leaders pressed for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and Lebanon, warning of the dangers of continuing escalation. The two presidents also affirmed their commitment to the tripartite cooperation mechanism with Greece. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati and United States State Secretary Antony Blinken have stressed that the necessity of increasing coordination to continue the current regional escalations is needed. Abdulati reiterated Egypt's rejection of Lebanon's sovereignty and territorial integrity being undermined and called for boosting humanitarian aid to the Lebanese people. He also urged all parties to abide by the full implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 1701. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has said that it appears that the replacement of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah has been eliminated. Gallant did not give further details. His comments came at a military command center and were published in a brief video segment distributed by the Israeli military. A World Food Programme senior official has expressed serious concerns about Lebanon's capacity to sustain its food supply. In a press conference held in Geneva, WFP's director in Lebanon, Matthew Hollingworth, highlighted that thousands of hectares of farmland in southern Lebanon have either been burned or left abandoned due to escalating hostilities. The organization also warned of a significantly higher risk of disease outbreaks among the displaced population. 4 U.S. officials have stated that the Biden administration has become increasingly doubtful of Israel's diplomatic plans in its multi-front war in the Middle East. American media outlets reported that the crisis of confidence between the Biden administration and Netanyahu's government is worsening due to Israel's planned response against Iran, which is reportedly not being fully coordinated with the US. American officials have also highlighted that the Biden administration does not oppose Israel's response for the Iranian attack, but wants to be well considered. CIA Director William Burns has warned that misjudgments could get in the way of efforts to dampen rising tensions between Iran and Israel over the next few weeks. The director added that they are facing the very real danger of a further regional escalation of conflict. Burns added that he doesn't think that leaders in either Israel or Iran are looking for an all-out conflict, but that risks of escalation remain. For more analysis, we go to Riham Morsi in our newsroom. Riham.
Thank you, Kareem. To help us analyse the current escalating tensions in the Middle East and how the United States views the situation, we're now joined by Al Ahram Weekly Assistant Editor-in-Chief, Khalid Dawood. Thank you so much for joining us here on Q. Sir, let me start off by asking you, do you think that the United States is contradicting itself by saying it's advocating a ceasefire while still providing arms to Israel, such as the most recent fighter jets agreement that they had with Israel? Mr. Khalid, are you with us? Sir, did you hear my question? Mr. Khalid Dawood. Mr. Khalid, again, let me repeat the question. Do you think that the United States is contradicting itself by saying that they advocate for a ceasefire while also approving arms deals to Israel in the billions, including the most recent fighter jet deals that they made with Israel?
No administration has helped Israel more than I have. None, none, none. And I think Bibi should remember that. And whether he's trying to influence the election or not, I don't know.
Seems that we have a bit of a technical problem reaching Mr. Khalid Dawood. We'll try to get back to him again, but now back to Kareem in the studio.
Oh, thank you, Riham. And now the latest in Gaza. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has said that reaching a ceasefire in Gaza is one of the three goals that Egypt has sought to achieve since October 7th last year. El-Sisi said that the other two goals are the release of detainees in Gaza and the supply of aid to the Gaza Strip as well. The Egyptian president has also reiterated his country's firm position on the Palestinian issue, which is the implementation of the two-state solution. The Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has called on the international community to implement President Mahmoud Abbas's vision to stop Israeli aggression and achieve peace. The ministry asserted that it continues to try and mobilize the broadest possible international alliance to stop the Israeli aggression on Gaza. It added that it is pursuing all international avenues to expose Israel's coalition and the violations and crimes that Palestinians are suffering. 1 year after Israel's attack on Gaza, the humanitarian crisis remains dire, with thousands killed, homes destroyed, children out of school and millions displaced. Millions are facing hunger and disease. And now for more news from the African continent, we go to our newsroom with Salma Marwan. Over to you, Salma.
Thank you, Karim. And now we move to the latest developments in Africa. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has attended a war inspection lineup of the 6th Armored Division of the 2nd Field Army in Ismailia. President el-Sisi stressed that the doctrine of the armed forces is to preserve the capabilities of the Egyptian state and protect its borders, adding that Egypt's goal is to live in peace within its borders without any hidden agenda. Tunisia's President Kais Saied has won a second term with more than 90% of the vote, the Electoral Commission has said. The turnout was 28.8% in Sunday's vote, in which Saied faced two election rivals, Shah Party leader Zohair Maghzawi and Aishi Zamel. The final results of the presidential election are set to be announced early next month, according to the electoral agency. The two houses of the Ethiopian parliament have appointed Foreign Minister Tai Atske Selassie as the new president of the country. The appointment followed the end of the term of current president Sahle-Work Zewde after 6 years of service as the country's head of state. The newly appointed president was sworn in earlier as the new leader of Africa's second most populous nation. Mozambicans will vote tomorrow in an election that is almost certain to see the ruling party, Frelimo, maintain its half-century grip on power. President Filipe Nyusi is stepping down after 2 terms, and the party's candidate Daniel Chapo is expected to replace him. Frelimo has ruled Mozambique since its independence from Portugal in 1975. Close to 17 million voters in the southern African nation of 31 million people are registered to vote for the next president, along with 250 members of parliament and provincial assemblies. The Democratic Republic of Congo has expanded its monkeypox vaccination campaign, with health workers in North Kivu and South Kivu provinces receiving shots. Many at-risk individuals still remain unvaccinated as the country battles to contain a widespread outbreak. The rollout follows Saturday's limited launch, where a small number of officials were vaccinated in Goma. Vaccination centers were established outside Goma in North Kivu and near Bukavu in South Kivu, according to health officials. Now we're going to move back to Karim for more news. Back to you, Karim.
Thank you, Salma. That was Salma Marwan with the latest on Africa. And now it's time to check up on the latest updates of the global economy. China has imposed temporary anti-dumping measures on brandy imports from the European Union. The tariffs effective from October 11 will require importers to pay security deposits ranging from 34.8% to 39% of the import value for various European brandies. China's Commerce Ministry accused the EU brandies of being sold at unfairly low prices, which threatens local producers in China. It is reported that European pork and dairy products may also be targeted in the future. The World Bank is considering releasing emergency funds for Lebanon, potentially worth up to $100 million by utilizing special clauses in existing loan agreements. World Bank Managing Director announced that the development lender currently holds $1.65 billion in loans to Lebanon, including a recently approved $250 million loan for renewable energy projects. The bank is exploring options to support the struggling economy and may use contingent emergency response component clauses to redirect unallocated funds for urgent needs. However, Lebanon has not yet formally requested this assistance. Global shares saw mixed performances on Tuesday. Wall Street's main indexes rose as investors shifted their attention to the upcoming third-quarter earnings season and inflation data. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.16%. The S&P gained 0.8% and the Nasdaq gained 1.26% in Europe. The regional Stoxx 600 index slipping 0.54%. The UK's FTSE 100 dropped 1.36%, while France's CAC 40 and Germany's DAX were down by 0.72% and 0.17% respectively. In Asia, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index closed 9.4% lower, its heaviest fall since 2008, and the Shanghai closed 4.6% higher. Brent crude futures fell $4 a barrel as fears of supply interruptions from the conflict between Israel and Iran and a massive Gulf of Mexico hurricane eased. As of 2:42 p.m. GMT, Brent crude futures were down 4.41% to $77.36 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate futures were down 4.77% at $73.45 a barrel. On Monday, both benchmark contracts rose over 3% to their highest levels since late August, contributing to an 8% rally last week, the largest weekly gain in over a year. And gold prices extended their decline for the fifth consecutive session on Tuesday, pressured by recent strong U.S. economic data. Spot gold fell 0.2% to $2,639.13 per ounce by 1:53 p.m. GMT. As for U.S. gold futures, it lost 0.3% to $2,658. And that brings us to the end of our news bulletin. Here's what we have been covering. Egyptian and Jordanian foreign ministers stress on the continued efforts to stop the Israeli aggression on Gaza, the West Bank and Lebanon. The Israeli occupation forces target the Har Tahrik municipality in southern Beirut with 2 separate airstrikes. And U.S. CIA director warns misjudgments could get in the way of efforts to dampen rising tensions. This concludes our news bulletin for the hour. Don't forget to follow Qnews on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram and TikTok at Qnews EGY to stay informed. For real-time updates, connect with us on UMS digital platform. Watch it. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates on Qnews.